Hello everyone! During this course, we learned about many innovative technology tools that help support student learning. These tools align with the ITSE standards. The ITSE standards' purpose is to ensure that learning is a student-driven process. The ITSE standards are a framework for creative pedagogy. We are going to explore these different technology tools and how they relate to the ITSE standards. Digital citizenship, copyright, safety, privacy, and Adobe Spark are the first technology tool that I will be reviewing. Copyright law protects the work of creators and requires permission before having others use their work. If you do violate copyright law, you will be subject to copyright infringement. I learned about the public domain and how work here does not have copyright protection. I also learned about fair use. Examples of when you could use fair use include criticism, teaching, and news reporting. The Citizen ITSE standard is being honored here because students will be motivated to be responsible in the digital world as a result of learning about digital citizenship. This will help create a safe online environment for our future. Adobe Spark can be used as a pre-teaching tool to preview the content the night before as homework. Adobe Spark can also be used as an online teaching tool so students can receive a lecture and a visual together. A strength of Adobe Spark is that students can rewind and pause the information so students can fully understand the concept. A weakness of Adobe Spark is if you put too much information on the slide, it becomes difficult to comprehend the audio, visual, and the words. Here is my Adobe Spark on privacy versus safety. As you can see, I have a background. You want to limit your word choice, and then there's also music playing in the background.
When safety is the main concern. The government and schools should not be able to freely go through your social media and cell phone without safety being at the forefront of the investigation.
Next, I will be reviewing technology trends and infographics. Piktochart is a website to help create infographics. Infographics use visual and text to highlight the important information. Piktochart has already made templates that use colors to showcase and differentiate information. I learned about an effective strategy to portray the message that you are trying to get across. I learned that I can use Piktochart to make an infographic showing parents how to use our learning management system. The Leader ITSE standard is being honored here because teachers are being leaders in providing students with information that empowers them. There are multiple ways Piktochart can be used in the classroom. Piktochart can be used to show technology infographics, parent information infographics, and student expectation infographics. A strength of Piktochart is that there are pre-made templates. A weakness of Piktochart is that it can be time-consuming to create the infographic using the right color, font, and setup that is most aesthetically pleasing. Here's an example of my Piktochart. I did it on Google Classroom, and I discussed the student features and benefits. I used the rectangles to differentiate the information in the colors. I also used visuals, and there is a video tutorial link right here. I also discussed the teacher features and benefits. I again used the rectangles and colors to differentiate the information so it's easy to read. I also have some pictures and again another video tutorial. So it's a nice way to view information and understand the information with all of the pictures provided. The third technology tool I will be discussing is Screencastify. Screencastify allows you to present a slideshow or share your screen while also talking. This tool also allows you to write on a virtual whiteboard and upload this so students can view the video. I learned that you can showcase any part of your screen on the Screencastify and pull up any document. This can help teachers use all of their resources to support student learning. Screencastify honors the ITSE standard of designer because teachers are designing videos that students can pause or rewind. Giving the students the power to revisit the information accommodates learner variability. Screencastify can be used as a supplemental tool for students who need extra help to fully understand a concept. Screencastify can also be used to introduce a topic in a flipped classroom setting. A strength of Screencastify is that it allows you to edit the video and post the video to any platform. A weakness of Screencastify is that you can only record a video for up to 5 minutes in the free version. Additionally, you can only store 10 videos in the free version. Here is my Screencastify project.
Then type your answer in the answer section. Some answers may be decimals. Make sure to include a comma if your answer has more than 4 digits. Do not include labels. Once all 14 problems are answered correctly, the picture will show work on paper. So I'm going to do the first one with you, just so you have an idea on how you should be solving these.
So as you can see, I have the activity pulled up on my computer on the activity that the students are going to be doing, and I'm explaining the directions and pointing things out. So it's really helpful for visual and auditory learners. The fourth technology tool is a formative assessment tool called Pear Deck. Pear Deck is a Google Slides add-on that allows students to use the draw, multiple choice, drag, and open-ended questions. This variety of features allows teachers to honor students' different learning preferences. I learned that you can make any picture your background on the slide, and students can draw over this. This is effective for students showing their work in a math problem. Then the teacher can project the student work for all students to see. Pear Deck honors the ITSE standard of facilitator. Pear Deck allows teachers to take on a facilitator role and gives students the power to own their own learning. Pear Deck can be used for collaborative group work or a think, pair, share activity. A strength of Pear Deck is the open-ended feature, so students can practice typing and students can read each other's thoughts. Another strength is the drag feature because students can agree or disagree with statements. Therefore, these statements can serve as a conversation starter. A weakness of Pear Deck is that there is a limit to how many times you can use the features. For example, you will be asked to upgrade to a paid version after you use the features so many times. Here's an example of my Pear Deck activity. It is about two-dimensional shapes. I have a multiple choice question. Students can pick their answer choice. I use this as a think, pair, share, so students can think about the question independently first, then they turn and talk to a partner, and finally we'll discuss their answers as a class and talk about any common mistakes that we see. So I have 3 multiple choice questions here. Next, I'm talking about polygons as a family tree, so I have a picture of my family, just a regular slide. We're going to do a graphic organizer. And here is the trivia questions that I have. So these are good conversation starters. Students will be discussing whether a rectangle is sometimes, always, or never a polygon, a parallelogram, and a quadrilateral. So students will be working on this collaboratively and discuss which answer choice is correct as a group. So I have a bunch of different trivia questions that students can talk through together. After that, they will be working in a group doing Quizlet questions, so I have the Quizlet linked on Pear Deck so the students don't have to pull up another link and it saves instructional time. Next, I will be discussing the quiz tool Google Forms. Google Forms is a self-checking quiz that gives teachers student data. Google Forms saves teachers time because the system checks the quiz and gives both student and teacher immediate feedback. I learned that Google Forms allows students to track their progress because they can see which questions they got correct and which questions they got incorrect. Google Forms honors the ITSE standard of analyst because Google Forms allows teachers to analyze data. By clicking on the Responses button, teachers can see if students reached a standard or need more scaffolding to conquer the learning goal. Google Forms can be used as a quiz or a learning activity to practice a skill. A strength of Google Forms is that it offers multiple question types. For example, multiple choice, short answer, and long answer are all options for teachers to choose from. So here's my example of a Google Forms. It's on polygons. Students write their first and last name. I can then categorize that in alphabetical order so I can put their responses in the gradebook very easily. They have pictures and then they have multiple choice questions. Once the students press submit, they can automatically see their score. On the teacher end, there's going to be a response button around here, and teachers can look at every student score and see what was the most missed question, so they can then accommodate their teaching practices based on the formative assessment. Lastly, I will be discussing the technology tool Nearpod. Nearpod is an interactive tool that increases student engagement. A popular feature of Nearpod is called Time to Climb. Time to Climb allows students to pick an animal character and compete against their classmates by answering questions correctly. I learned that Nearpod also allows students to draw on their screen and answer open-ended or multiple choice questions, similar to Pear Deck. Nearpod honors the ITSE standard of collaboration. Nearpod allows students to collaborate with each other and compete against each other to increase motivation. The tool can be used to motivate students by interacting in the Time to Climb. Nearpod can also be used as a formative assessment because exit tickets can be done on the draw screen. A strength of Nearpod is that students are engaged while playing in the game and want to get the questions correct. Another strength is that Nearpod provides teachers with detailed reports on who got the questions correct and incorrect. A weakness of Nearpod is that the Time to Climb is timed, so students that take a little bit longer to answer a question, they don't have unlimited time. So here is the Nearpod activity. I'm getting the students ready for the Time to Climb activity. Here is what it looks like. They would answer the question and they'd click on the correct answer. There's 3 questions here. I'm sorry, there were 4 questions there. And the students would then review the answers as a class. They can also do exit tickets, so they can actually write on this screen and the teacher can go through each and every student's answer to see how they did. And you can also have a classroom discussion on that. So I have now reviewed all 6 technology tools. Here is my reference page. I have really enjoyed this course because I now have many effective tools in my toolbox to integrate technology in my 5th grade mathematics classroom. Thank you for watching my technology portfolio screencast.